Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I thought I was streaming for the last 3 minutes. The last 5 minutes I've been talking. So I got to start all over again. I'm sorry about that, traders. Confused me. So I thought I had it streaming and wanted to do an update. And I said, no, later. But I thought we had gotten into the streaming and we didn't get the streaming. So anyway, that's where we are this morning. You can see we're starting off again. Let's start from the beginning. We'll go back to the Swiss franc. Hey, 47. I thought I was streaming for the last 4 minutes. So I just realized when I went up to open up the page, I wasn't there. Where was I? I was talking to myself. Oh, dear, oh, dear. So anyhow, you can see this morning the dollar is backing off from last night's action. You see that right there. They were running towards dollars most of the night. Oh, sure, let's check it out. Let's see what's going on with the GBP JPY. I've seen ruble now between 171 and 111. It's trading in not necessarily in the marketplace. It's kind of like an over-the-counter market where it's not between banks because of the SWIFT system situation with rubles and clearing and so forth. So it's making it hard for anybody to trade ruble. But I'm trying to find your GBP. Where is it at? There it is, right there. We're having issues about that going on. Now you can see it looks like your GBP JPY. Let's widen this, but it looks like it closed in a buy there on Friday. Yeah, so it closed in a weekly buy on Friday. So let's put our line in there. And what we're seeing this morning is that they were running towards the dollar, but it seems like the markets have calmed down now, and we're not running towards the dollar as much at the moment. Everything seems to be firming up. Matter of fact, I've seen the euro and the GBP dollar pairs trades. Both of those are trying to get into weekly buys, so that's pretty good. Last night they were knocking them down. And you can see here, we're not through the daily buy. We're getting a volatility signal right there. We'll see what that brings. The last two volatility signals have been, there's one there and it broke down and went down. So we'll see what tomorrow's brings. If we get into the daily buy, more than likely with the weekly buy, the volatility signal could be the upside move there. You can see here, the last one, like I said, was a down move. This one was an attempt on an up move that failed. And maybe that's because it wasn't in a weekly buy. Sometimes it seems to work that way. You can see here it was in a weekly sell. It broke down the next day and then gave us another signal. So it was confused altogether. This case here, we were in the weekly buy going into the weekly sell. We went to the buy the next day and we got a pop. So we'll see. What other ones are here? Is there anybody else around here? I don't see any of the others. There hasn't been any real volatility signal. Oh, there's one right there. We were in a weekly sell. We got the sell and went down for a couple of days and then started to turn right back up with the daily buy. So hold on, 47. Let's see what happens tomorrow with the GBP JPY. All right, back over to where we're heading now. We'll go over to the euro. There's the euro there this morning. And let's put it up on J4X too at the same time. Right there. And there we go. We're getting some messages through this whole thing. Education, Janos, let's see, education. What do we got going on there? You just see what's going on here. Oop, don't want that. I want the. There we go. I want Skype. Where'd Skype go? There it is. So the pressure. No problem, 47. Let's keep an eye on that. Sometimes that works pretty well. I don't pay attention to it as much in that fashion sometimes, like I just described to you, but I should, because it does seem to show that it has characteristics that are well worth looking at that way, And matter of fact, when you look at it on the cable here, we went into the daily buy a day after the volatility signal right there. Notice that? And it started to climb. And then, same situation again. that occurred, and then from there, you know, what we really saw was when's the last time? Okay, here's one. Whoa, I don't mean to move that. Notice here we get a volatility signal get into. We're already in a sell, and it breaks down. Now here's one. It goes into a volatility signal, tries to get into the buy the next day, and goes up, but it doesn't make any money out of it. So that's why I don't always emphasize that, but it's well worth looking at. Yeah, so that's pretty much the name of the game there. So, and now you know, so I don't emphasize it too much because sometimes it really works like a charm, and sometimes it putzes around for like a day or two, and then finally does something. So, you know, but it's you know it's a good signal. You know, I always know something's coming, and sometimes it means it's running hard, or sometimes it's going sideways. And you know, and when it's running hard, it's usually a nice win. All right, let's jump over to the British pound. Right there. There's the British pound. Let's put it up on J4X. Right there. And as you can see, lots of red. But over here, you can see they're trying to lift it up. And at the same time, you can see right there, we are playing with the weekly buy right there. Go like that. There we go. Good. No, I don't want to do that. Do that. There we go. So we're not in the daily, but the weekly is perking up on the British pound, just like it's doing with the euro. Both of them are perking up. Let's put that in there too. There we are. So you can see here the, let's see, we got the GBP on there. It'll smooth out, you know. We'll see how that plays itself out. It should. And so you can see they're not running towards the dollar anymore. That's a good thing. Like I said, you know, when they don't run towards the dollar, that's usually a good sign that things have internationally calmed down. They're going to have to figure out these trade sanctions and the SWIFT banking system thing, and all that stuff's going to have to be figured out. But I'm sure that it will work out fine, you know. So let's go with K there. Okay. Let's see, where's it at? Right there. I'm just hunting for some stuff there. Okay, there and there. All right, from there we're going to jump over to the Turkish Lira. Let's see what's going on with the Turkish Lira. We've been pretty happy with this whole new banking concept that they're using, and we find it to be really cutting edge in many ways. I mean, we've seen so many times for so many decades where they throw money away, not just Turkey, but other countries. In the South American countries, when they have their issues and they're trying to you know, they're having to, what do they call it, reissue new currency, and they have to default. That's the word I was looking for, default. They have to default, and it turns it into a real fiasco. And it's a waste of a lot of money, and then they have to refinance. And instead, President Erdogan came out with him and his former son-in-law, or the son-in-law, former head of the central bank, basically came up with an idea about giving out free puts, and it seems to have really stabilized the currency enormously. And as you can see right there, and let's put it up, and as we go like that, you can see it's very tight now compared to the craziness we used to go through with that product. Let's take a look at it right here, up on Chicago. Right, where are you? Where's that mouse at? There it is. And right there, there's Turkish Lira. You see it's ran up to the top of the box there. This box is going to be like the whole screen for a while. And you can see even we're flirting with the week. What did we do? I think we went into the weekly sell last week, did we? No. There's Friday, right? No. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, so we went into the weekly sell. I guess we can get rid of that. Just remove that circle. I think it closed there. Yeah. Yeah, minus. Okay, so it closed in a weekly sell last week. So that's a good thing. Let's put that in there. That right there. Like that and like that. There we go. Wrong color, of course. There we are. So that's a really good sign. You know, here's the Euro Turkish Lira. You see it's backing off. You know, it's moving down. It's very stable. And like I said, I think that unfortunately Mr. Putin needs to get into the game and figure that out himself, because President Erdogan has really come up from being the man in the land of the blind. He has now become in sync with finance for his country with the put. So, you know, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's what it really comes down to. A stable currency. Unstable currency is like a tax, okay? And a stable currency is not like a tax. It makes everybody be able to, opens a doorway for more investment. It opens the doorway for less inflation. And if they have to come up with a tax system that adjusts it, at least they have control over it, compared to wiping out all the cash in their sovereign fund or wiping out all their cash in their central bank, like Mr. Erdogan has done for like a good 8 years. Now they can build a cash reserve. People hold on to assets in Turkey more. You know, just the whole thing works out a lot better. All right, from there, we'll go over to the Canadian. That's usually the next stop we go. Right there. And we will see what they're doing with that. Let's see that. There we go. I think that's how it goes. Yes, indeed. And let's get it up on J4X. Take a look at the Canadian. Right there. All right. And you see there, the Canadian on the Chicago Quant just kind of flattish, you know, but it's in a daily sell now for a second day. You see over on J4X right here, you see a lot of red. So they're trying to put some pressure into it. And you can see today we are flirting with the weekly sell at the same time, right there. So it just shows us that, you know, that maybe, I understand that the government ministers are really giving Mr. Trudeau a lot of problems, you know, with his crazy fascist thing he was doing. You know, I mean, he declared an emergency so he could lock up a bunch of truck drivers. I mean, it's like, you know, what a crazy thing to do. They're truck drivers. You want things delivered to your stores. You want to be able to function in a normality, and then hey, you know, do that stuff instead. You know, and don't put people in jail over it. Matter of fact, they're returning all their properties and all their money today, I understand. So maybe that Canadian getting stronger against the dollar says maybe that. I guess we can say, well, we see that all the currencies are starting to calm down. So maybe, you know, we don't actually look at it that way totally. But, you know, one thing is for sure, and that is that the Canadian is going through all kinds of metamorphosis. I heard something yesterday that they're so frustrated with the way the elections have been kind of sloppy. In other words, they're not really sure sometimes if the votes are real. They're going back to paper. Yeah, so Canada is going to go back to paper election, you know, using paper, you know, the little paper things instead of computers. Because there's starting to become a question mark about how the votes are getting, how why the votes are the way they are, and then the polls don't look the same as the votes. Same thing happened here in the States. So, this ballot, what do they call it, harvesting and so forth. So I heard yesterday that Canada has moved back to paper ballots. So maybe, because we know that Mr. Trudeau is a minority government. And so we got to wonder, what does that all mean? I mean, how does he have power when he doesn't have popularity? So how does he get the votes? And I guess that's why they're going back to paper. They're going to clean up this situation and figure out whatever has been going on there is not what it's supposed to be, I guess, I think that's probably what we're seeing. We're not even sure at this point. We're just totally confused, I'd have to say. But anyway, that's the Canadian. You can see there. And normally what we do is we look at like gold and silver. Let's do that. We'll take a quick look at, let's put it up on J4X. Take a look at, see what the gold is doing. Gold was up from all this crazy noise. You can see it there. They knocked it down, pushed it into a sell, and we'll go back to it on Chicago Quant in a bit. Let's see. Where's that at? Oh, here. Let's do this. Let's find it over here. There it is, right there. All right, there's the gold. You see, it's up for the day, and it went into the sell on Friday, and they spiked it up again this morning with Mr. Putin's attempt to scare the world with nuclear weapons, and obviously that didn't work. Now NATO's putting airplanes in there they're supplying Ukraine with everything now. They're supplying them with everything. So obviously Mr. Putin thought that he could threaten the world with nuclear weapons. I heard that the French foreign minister said something to him on Saturday. He said that, I think you've forgotten that we have nuclear weapons too. How about that? Go French, go. Martin, how you doing? So there it is with the gold, and that is normally why we see strength in the and oil too. I guess we could show you the oil too real quick. Oil was up again, right there. April oil, you see it gapped up, and it's trying to battle its way into the buy this week. Okay, it's minus, still good, but it gapped up. So I mean, that's usually the reason we see strength in the Canadian. How you doing, Martin? Got anything you want to see? It's a little wild and woolly, isn't it? The world has gotten a little crazy. Got a little crazy. Not much. How else can you say it from there? The world has gotten crazy. Let's see. We'll give Martin a chance to say something if he wants to say something, or he wants to look at something. And what else can we say about any of that? Go with that. No, I don't see anything from Martin, so we'll just keep on rolling with the homies. All right, from there we jump over to the South African Rand, which is usually, a signal in the sense of the way the metals complex goes. So let's see what they're doing with the South African Rand this morning. Lifting it up, which is a little surprising. Let's put it over on Chicago. You would have thought with the way they popped it, but this could be very short-lived because I don't see Mr. Putin cranking up his nuclear weapons. I think someone will shoot him in the head, honestly, if he even attempted to start a nuclear war. I mean, no one's invading his country, so he's invading somebody else's country. So he's going to use nuclear weapons to invade another country? That sounds pretty incoherent. It doesn't sound too smart. Let's put it that way. It doesn't sound too smart. So we'll have to see how things play out over the next couple of days, but we really don't expect to see that type of insanity to occur out of this whole mess. But then, it's so hard to believe that that could happen. It really does. It seems very hard to believe. All right, from the South African Rand, let's check out. We're not really getting any quotes. Let's see what we got here now. All right, we do have a quote. What the? 104. Okay, yeah. So we're seeing a high of the ruble of 113. Remember, we have dollars, and they have probably some rubles that they can make markets with here. Beyond the SWIFT system, possibly. Let's see what we got on J4X at the moment. Yeah, see, they've got temporary unavailable. They're not shooting out any quotes, and I don't blame them. It's a little tough, but last night we saw some quotes that were actually 171. Freaked me out, huh? Talk about, high numbers. Wow, huh? 171 for a ruble, 171 rubles to a dollar. But you can see here this morning in the States, they do have some quotes. Sometimes we get quotes and stuff. You never know around here. And it does seem like it's being consistent, which is pretty cool too at the same time. So we'll just keep on, we'll see what they do with it. I'm not totally confident. I don't even know what the margins are. I haven't even looked because I'm not trading it. In this case here, why get in the middle of a mess like that? So I think Dukascopy is doing the right stuff, is just saying, you know what, we're going to keep the market closed until things calm down. Because it doesn't make a lot of sense to try to get involved in something that's, you can see there, it just jumped to 105. So it's like going like 104 rubles, 105 rubles, they're bouncing all over the place. That's awful. They're big ticks. That's some big, bids and offers. Matter of fact, what is the bid and offer? The bid is 104.72. The offer is 106. Yeah, who wants to get involved in stuff like that? That's wild stuff there. All right. From there, let's go check out the yen. See what the yen looks like. There's the dollar yen. And we'll put it up over here. There we go. And let's see, what else can we say about that? And there we go. So you can see there, yen, we're looking at 5-year highs. We've talked about that. We keep on waiting for it to do, make some type of breakout. We keep on thinking it wants to go to 118, but maybe now with this world in a little odd calamity, markets will, I don't know, maybe they'll just go sideways for a while until they can really, really, really figure out what they want to do. Because I'm not really sure that they feel that comfortable. When you have some markets closed and the SWIFT banking system not able to clear all trades, it makes it hard for anybody to make a market in. All right, from there, we go to our last little pal, and that is the Mexican peso. Where's peso at? There it is right there. You see it's sliding down into the weekly sell. It went into the weekly sell last week. Let's put that line in there. There we are. But it's still in the daily buy. Getting a volatility signal too right there. Not sure what that could encapsulate, but one thing's for sure, there might be some real action to it. At least one thing's for sure, and that is that it seems to, for I guess you could say last 2.5 months, it's fallen back into the range after whatever Mr. Biden had done with that conference between Mexico and Canada. It has definitely started to look a lot different in many ways. Definitely that. Alrighty. Alright, so that pretty much, oh, we don't have it over on J4X. Let's put it up on J4X. Right there. You see some green developing there, so it's obviously trying to get its game together on some level. And I guess what we'll do is we will, we'll kind of watch the way it plays itself out and then go from there. But I don't, I don't see, like any real issues coming up with the Mexican peso as long as Mr. Biden seems to have become lost in his direction. He doesn't seem to have a, whatever he said in that conference obviously has washed away, and the people, the Prime Minister and President of Mexico and the Prime Minister of Canada, obviously it's, you can see the Canadian has been kind of trapped in a range and going sideways, but the Mexican peso has basically gotten rid of that big giant spike that occurred out of it all. That was where he had the conference. He shook up something for a while there, but we're back in the range. All right, so that does the currencies. Unless someone wants to see a currency, we will move over to the commodities and see what's going on with commodities. 105.22 bid on the old peso there, the ruble. Since we're getting a quote on it, there's 60s trade. So 105.60s. It's kind of fascinating to see what's going on there, but it is, looks like it's trying to establish a price range up in the, over the par now. Yowzer. Huh? Yowzer. Boy, when I saw that 171 trade yesterday afternoon, I was like, what? Are they out of their minds? That's a little too wild. I figured it would settle in the 120s. If they really were establishing a 171 high, I thought, oh yeah, it'll be in the 120s today, but being in the 106s is a lot better too. Remember, normally I am bullish on the ruble. I don't understand why it's not lower. But then, when you have leadership like Mr. Putin, we know why it's not lower. If Mr. Putin was gone, product would probably be back in the 60s and the 50s. It could drop literally 50 rubles down. It could do like a doubling, just the way like the Turkish Lira did when they finally, figured out their situation. All right, let's take a look at silver this morning. Silver's not really reacting that much to this action. Let's see, where is it at? Let's minimize that and find our silver. There it is. So I'll switch this over. Right there. Let's see what's going on with silver. There's silver. It popped, it's gapped up like everything else. It's playing with its weekly buy. You can see here on J4X, it's, where's that? Right there. You can see it's, it's the same way with the way we are. We're in the sell right there. It's in the sell right there. And, but our weekly is turning up now. So we'll see if they start to really do hold on to these currencies. I'd imagine once things get under control, supposedly they're negotiating right now. If they're negotiating for a peace treaty, obviously there's not much they're going to be able to say, really, when you really think about it. What are they going to do? I mean, they're going to basically say, okay, go home. Go away. Leave us alone. I mean, that's pretty much what it comes down to. I mean, there's not much. What can they really negotiate? You know what I mean? What can they really negotiate more than just go home? Take your tanks, take your planes, go home. That's pretty much what it really comes down to. Let's take a look at silver. I'm sorry, not silver, copper. There it is. Notice copper's trying to lift up again today. We stayed in the weekly buy. On Friday they tried to push it down, didn't seem to work. Throughout the whole week, really, you can see that. And you can see right here, we flirted in and out trying to get into the buy during the days, and it fails. Look at that one right there. It tried to right there. Let's see what it looks like on J4X. There it is right there. Lots of red. Notice right here, it's doing the same, right there I guess it is. It's doing the same turn up here as it's doing right there. Then let's check out platinum. I heard somebody recommend platinum last week. I was like, uh-oh. Yeah, I heard somebody, on one of the talking head shows, on one of the financial networks said, platinum has been the real sleeper. And I'm thinking, it's been the performer. Platinum's gone higher than gold, higher than silver, percentage-wise over this, what's it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 weeks in the weekly buy. It's been the better performer out of everything. And I thought, uh-oh, what are they looking at? And they were like, it looks like it's getting strong. And I'm thinking, hello, it's been strong for 9 weeks now. Be careful, we're flirting with a weekly sell. And matter of fact, you can see right there, it is trying to climb underneath as we speak on the weekly. See that? In the corner there, it's minus 28. So I thought, uh-oh, that analyst is somebody I don't want to pay attention to. I won't mention the house where he's from, and it was a guy. But I just don't. I don't want to beat up on anybody. But I was like, uh-oh, you've missed the boat. 9 weeks, our work has been telling us to be long, and it's going up. So, now our work is telling it to go down, and you think it's going to go up. Oh well, that's a horse race. That's what makes a market. For every buyer, there's a seller. All right, from there, let's jump over to the energy complex. There is oil. It had spiked up again up to 94. Didn't go take the 96, 97 there. That's June contract. That's back month. And there's the front month. They had hit the century mark. Or very close to it, I guess, right there. 99.14. And today was 99.10. And now it's down at 95. It's dropped $4 from its high. Let's check it out over here on J4X. So, let's do this. We'll go to Brent. Brent's trying to do the same thing, I believe. 98. That product has been as high as 106. So, the oil markets are starting to calm down. I guess they're going to figure it all out. I understand the Americans, the House of Representatives, Biden's asking for money. They're going to tie it to sanctions on oil from Russia and opening up the Keystone Pipeline and allowing to drill again. So Mr. Biden is starting to get backed into the corner just the same way that Mr. Putin is. You have to laugh at that. Two incompetents at the same time. All right, from there, we go over to natural gas. Let's see what the natural gas is doing. There is American natural gas, trading in the $4.50 area. And then, let's see what European natural gas is doing. Right there. Yeah, it's popping up a little bit, but remember, this had gone as high as 38, okay, in dollar terms. And you can see there in the, see, is that it? Yeah, I guess that's what it is. So this is in the euro. So it could have been as high as 38. I mean, that's where it was, the dollar terms I saw. So I didn't look at the time how much it was in the euros, but you can see it's dropped a good 33%. We're getting a little bounce out of it, but then why wouldn't we be? If you ever look at the maps of all these gas pipelines, I mean, Ukraine has some crazy number like 16 or 12. I mean, enormous amounts of gas pipelines running through the country. It's a real conduit into Europe. So, what am I thinking next? Okay, what do we got here? All right, so what it's starting to come up to is we're starting to see that the natural gas is not as volatile as it had been. Let's say that. And I'm not sure what else we can say, but one thing is for sure, and that is that you know, this whole thing is not necessarily, as much as we talk about energy and all this, you know, all this noise and so forth. In many ways, it's not really the energy as much as it seems to be financial. It seems like Mr. Putin has some desire, geopolitical thing going on in his head. Um, you know, you know, because I mean, even up until Friday or Saturday, Americans were buying almost almost $400 million a day in oil. Now we're boycotting all oil. You know, people started over the weekend started boycotting all the oil, the Russian gas stations. We have the second largest amount of gas stations in America are Russian. So it's like they have like 260 outlets. It's like, what is up with them? I mean, what aren't they satisfied? It's like greed or something. Some really strange, greedy concept going on. I don't even know. It'll take time for us to be able to label this whole thing. Maybe they'll find that Putin is not much more together than Biden. As much as Putin has been a much sharper person throughout his whole career, there's no doubt about that. I mean, really, Putin has definitely been, you know, the smarter politician. And there we go. There we go. Let's give it a yep. There we go. I'm getting a text. I need to say something. There we go. I have to answer something. What do I have somebody picking something on. Yeah. What is it? I have something over at a store, and my son is texting me saying he's going there. I ordered a cable. There you go. I just answered that. I just have to tell him I can pick it up. All right, so where are we at this point? Let's see. So we're looking at the natural gas. You know, we've seen Brent is down. I'm trying to head evaluate both Mr. Biden and Mr. Putin. Well, I have to laugh at that. You know, what else can we say about that? It's too crazy. Can you believe we're in this mess? What's up with these guys? I think we should not let the politicians stay in office too long. You know, I mean, I don't care how old you are, but you know, only let you be there for like 6 years because I mean, we get some real nutso cases. All right, there we go. All right, from there, let's see. We've looked at the energies. We've looked at the metals. Anybody have anything they want to see? If not, what we'll do is we'll jump over to the stock indices and see how they're acting. Now, there's no doubt that there's pressure across the board on the stock indices. So let's do this. We'll go here. Let's take a look at the S&P 500. Well, let's do this. Let's go to the what they call the Tech 100 on Dukascopy. There it is right there. Let's open it up here. I got the ruble trading pretty comfortably. It's at 105.80. So it seems like they're establishing a range up in over the century mark. I guess that's the best way to describe it. Isn't Robin so sweet? Thank you, Robin. I appreciate that. Boy, have I been dancing this morning? We had technical difficulties with some of our grain charts, so I was like rushing around in so many different directions trying to get that all resolved at the same time. I was like, oh man, it was like just when I thought that I had a whole week to deal with March grain. Some of the March grain contracts are not updating because they're really not the front month anymore. So, whereas like March corn is, March wheat is not. Okay, so there is the NQs. You can see it's coming off the lows of today already of 13.68. That was like the round down the first hour of the openings. It fell to 16. Look, see that there low, 13.683. Look where it's trading now. 14. Live. You can see it. It's trading at 14.11. Is that 11? 14. No. Yeah, 14.14 now, as you can see. 14.14. So it has gone up almost 330 points from its lows. So obviously the scare is being pushed out of it. You can see we have green over here on the J4 axis, so it's showing you that they're trying to buy into it. It's down, no doubt. No doubt about it. It's down. It's down. Matter of fact, when we go over to the intraday chart, let's see, where's it at? Where is it at? There it is, right there. You can see it's down 300 and, is that it? No, where is it at? There it is right there. It's down 171. See it right there? 172, 170. But at one point, it was down 320 points more. So it was down almost 500 points in the beginning of the evening last night. This is the S&P over here. You see it's down 57 points now, right there. And let's show you what the daily looks like over there. Now, this is the world index as far as I'm concerned, because 50% of the companies in the index are outside the United States. They're incorporated other places. So let's put that up on there. Right there, there's the S&P 500. And let's see what else we got going on there. Yeah, you can see that, that's in the daily buy. They gapped it down. Same situation. You see that low there of 4,320. What is it? 4,251. Right now it's trading at 4,322. 70 points higher. 70 points higher. I mean, it was down like 130 points at one point. I mean, they just smacked it right off. I mean, they smacked all these things at the very, very beginning of last night. And then, let's see, where's that there? And then from there, we'll take a look at the, that's it right there. You can see that's the, that is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And let's see what we're doing with that. Put it up on J4X right there. And you can see, it's trying to climb up just the same way. Let's take a look at the daily on that, right there. There it is on Chicago Quant. And you can see we closed in a daily buy like the others last Friday, and it's trying to climb up. And the low was 33,322. And right now we're trading at 33,000, basically 601. So 322 to, it's up almost 300 points higher. And right there you can see, where's it at? Which mouse is it? There it is right there. You can see right there, it's down 390. So it was down almost 700 points at the beginning of trading last night. We've seen the markets try to turn. We're seeing more positive action. We're hoping to get have much more positive answers over the next couple days. We hope someone starts to negotiate from the Russian Federation a much more adult decision-making process, not the spoiled child process. Because I'll tell you, NATO's putting the F-16s into the theater, and that means they can put 10 planes up there and take down like 300 Russian planes. So does he really want to lose a third of his or a quarter of his air force? I don't think so. I don't understand why we would do foolish things like that. We understand that on Thursday they put 2 F-35s in Romania. Trust me, the Pentagon would not put 2 F-35s there if they thought they needed 10. They would put 10 there. So I don't, one thing's for, it's like everything else in math and mechanic, and as my one son said to me yesterday, I only trust the laws of physics. And he's right. And what it really comes down to is that not a lot of this seems to make a lot of sense. Let's put it that way. A lot of this doesn't make a lot of sense at all. So I don't think I think they have to do the negotiation thing and get out of Dodge. I think that's what it really comes down to. All right, what else do we got going on here? All right, so we looked at the stock indices. Oh, let's take a look, since we're here with the stock indices. We'll look at like Bitcoin, and we'll take a look at, I want to see what the Russell's doing here. There's the Russell. 47, you still around? There's the Japanese one too I just saw. We can take a look at that if you want. You can see the Russell's been down on this low range for a while. It's off of its all-time highs by about 15%. They really beat this up. This led the way down, and it seems to be holding pretty firm here the last couple of days, with the bounce and all like that. And then let's see, what are they doing in the? There's the Nikkei. The Nikkei seems to is trying to lift itself back up into the 27 area, which is not too bad. You see that? There's the Nikkei. See it? And look at the weekly. The weekly is in the plus right now too. After what's that, like 8 weeks in a weekly sell? See, it's been in a weekly sell for a while. Let's see if we have it on J4X. I'm almost dead sure we do. There it is. Yeah, so it's starting to develop some greens in there. Let's see what the line's at. The lines are turning up. Seeing the same stuff as we're seeing here for 3 days. Thing has come off that enormously nice low. Excellent. So you see that action also at the same time. So that's about it when it comes to those products. And then let's just take a look at the crypto. Probably the greatest awakening we've seen. We got to change contracts here. One of the greatest awakenings we've seen with understanding the crypto universe, and that is that we really we've seen the cryptos not really function as an independent. They're functioning like an. That's why I've always said, I've said it here over and over. They're not really currency. It's an asset class. That's what it really is. It's an asset class. And people are like, well, what's that mean? Well, you can see right here. It's holding its own now, but this thing fell with the stock market. Same action. It followed the rest of the stock markets. It's an asset. Now, it's a unique asset. It has these properties that what are the unique properties, you say? I guess you could ask. And that is it can function away from the central banks. It can be matter of fact, I heard Christine Lagarde, the head of the ECB, say last night that they need to create some rules so that Mr. Putin can't move capital now that the SWIFT system is shut down through cryptocurrencies. They're not really currencies. They're really a crypto asset. I know people, they have characteristics like a currency, but the real strength that when you look at them and see the way they act, is that they really are an asset. And it's an asset, it's unique characteristic, different. you know, when you look at assets, I mean, like you have an airplane company, that's an asset, you know, and it's you know, the stock in it and so forth, and the bonds. And what's its uniqueness? It makes airplanes, not washing machines, you know, or it makes airplanes and it doesn't make rubber spatulas. You know, its uniqueness is its product. And you know, and then there's like, you know, like a Tesla or a Volkswagen or something like that, or a General Motors or a Ford. What do they do? I mean, they don't make, you know, rubber spatulas. They make cars. That's their uniqueness, and they're a car company. And so, you know, in many ways, what is a crypto? The cryptos are a asset, and they are a independent uh, uh, current asset transfer system. That's what it really is. They transfer. You can transfer assets without having to use the normal banking system. That's what it comes down to. And then when you want to bring it into the banking system, you can bring it into the banking system, but it doesn't need the banking system to transact. So that's its uniqueness. It's a whole new asset class, and it's kind of like a whole new asset itself. Like there was, let's say, 200 years ago, there were companies that made trains, right? So you had companies that were making, trains, but there were no automobiles. So the first really big stock index at the New York Stock Exchange back then was the transport index. It had all the trains in it. Okay. And then when, the Industrial Revolution got going, then they made, cars and planes and so forth, and refrigerators and TV sets and so forth, and pharmaceuticals. And so all these companies, and banking system, that type of thing. So you had a growth. Well, what we really have now is we have a crypto asset. And what it is, it functions separately from the banking system. And it's a whole new, I guess you could say, it's a new banking system of its own. That's what it really is. That is it's important for people to understand that you're not really, it has characteristics just like, what was it, Owens and Ford make glass. Cars need glass. So, they invested in glass manufacturing. But is that really their main theme? Ford? No. They make cars. And they need a lot of things, a lot of plastics. They need steel. They need rubber. They need all these different things. So that's what I'm trying to get across here is that the cryptos have shown that they're an alternative banking system. They're not a currency. They're an equity. Their real trick pony is they're an alternative to banking and central banks. And they just look like a currency, but they're not a currency. They just function like a whole new era in banking. And obviously, we could take a look at. I think we have a stock index. Let's do this. Let's put the crypto up over on J4X, and let's take a look at Goldman Sachs, a bank, and see how that looks. Matter of fact, we have other things too. We could do there's a where is it at? There's a finance index we can take a look at, XLF. And let's find the XLF. Let's see if there's a correlation to it. Now look at that. They look a lot alike. See that? The same bounce here. That same bounce back in mid-Jan. Let's see, where's that? There it is. Right there. There's Jan 30th. If we roll over a little bit, it's going to look the same. Probably put a bottom in there. See, did the same exact thing. So this is the XLF on our right. This is a bank index of finance companies and so forth, and this is the Bitcoin. So what it's really doing is it's following the finance side of everything. I think we're going to label this webinar that because I think we need to explore this more. I think this is something well worth exploring. I've said lots of things about the cryptos. I've been a big supporter of the cryptos. I knew that it was a new asset. I've said that many a time. I don't see it as a currency. I mean, just like Libyone and Ford or Ford Motor Company, you know, they invested in a glass company that manufactures glass for automobiles, but they're, you know, Ford is not a glass company. It is a automobile company. All right, we're going to get out of here. This is Doc from North America. We will catch you all tomorrow, same time. Let's hope that the peace breaks out over in Europe, and you know, our hearts and our prayers go to everybody in the you know, Ukraine and so forth, and the whole area there. You know, Romania and Poland and, you know, you know, all the bordering countries. Was it? You know, I don't think Latvia touches it, but I think Belarus blocks it. But you know, Latvia, our friends in Riga, everybody's keep your heads down. And since you're all NATO, I guess you don't have to worry about this crazy stuff. But I'm sure you're all prepared for it. That's the key. Be ready. All right, this is Doc from North America. Happy trails to you until we meet again. So take care, traders.